for your sake and for the sake of your future generations. You must defy all odds. Make your way to the land of Brussels from any part of the world. Coming to Brussels, Belgium, to march together with the indigenous people of your land. Your brothers, your sisters, your fathers, your mothers, and your entire people to send a unified message to the world that all we need is true freedom and total independence. If there is no struggle, there will be no freedom. This information is coming to you from the office of all state media worldwide under the leadership of
Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you through the auspices of Radio Biafra London. Do not forget to join us live on IPUB Community Radio. Also on Radio Biafra Facebook page, please. Do not forget. Therefore, we shall go direct into the subject of our discussion today. As usual, today is Saturday, the 7th day of May 2022. I will bring in Wanda. Please introduce yourself before I go on. Please, Wanda.
Good afternoon, Mazi Jonathan. Good afternoon, my fellow Biafrans, all listeners from all over the world. Today is another Saturday, the 7th day of May. You are all welcome to listen to the broadcast today. My name's Marianne T. Eder. I wish you all a good listening. God bless.
We must continue. The second part of paganism. Last week we discussed about paganism, the first part, and we promised to continue on that topic, paganism. It is very wrong to call ourselves names as pagans, unbelievers, Gentiles, etc. It is very, very wrong. And today we are going to also give you facts why it is wrong. For us as a people, as a race, as a nation, to be calling ourselves all these very imported wrong names. It's imported. All these names, they were imported into our land. It's not original. It was not original. As I said the other time, we defined the origin of the word paganism. It's a Greek word. It's not Igbo word. It's not a Jaw word. It's not any Biafran language word, which means it's imported. So why should they import something and we carry it upon our heads in order to be destroying ourselves with it? This is very wrong. The earlier use of the word paganism, which was derived from the Greek word paganus, meaning villagers, country dwellers, was then used by the early Jews to refer to non-Jews. I said it last week and I'm repeating it. It was not about religion until the early Christian Jews started using it to refer to non-Judaism practitioners. Do you see how they quickly inculcated it? Still yet, they were referring to the non-ethnically or ethnical Jews, because every Jew has Judaism as his or her culture. Do you understand? That is why we always tell you that religion is the way of life of a people. It is about a people. It's not about that individual thing. You know, the one bad thing Christianity that was imported in our land did was to divide us, to make you believe that you are alone in your race. It's very evil. This is something that we are fighting against, because the thing, it disintegrated us into pieces. Because they tell you also, say, well, no. Are you, why then, during the time, even in the Bible, why then God killed many Jews? Just because one person committed a sin, one of them. Why didn't he remove him if it's an individual race? For you to understand that as from that time, human beings were being taught to live in communities. Do you understand? Using that religion as a community issue. It's not religion should never be individual matter. As it is modernism, what they call the modern definition of democracy. You can think anyhow, you can belong to any society. That one is different. But the character of a people, the way of life of a people is inherent, it's natural. Therefore, when you go against the culture of a people, you as an individual, it should be punished. It's just like the law of a country. If you commit a crime in a society, now you go to the court. The prosecutor is representing the land. Is the government, a government lawyer is a prosecutor. The person that is pressing charges, that wants you to be punished, which means he is representing the government, which means he is representing the land. Sometimes there might not be direct victim, or even if the victim says, okay, I forgive the person, now the prosecutor will say, no, your forgiveness is okay, is allowed, but this man is sinned against, or he committed a crime against the government, against the land, that is what it entails. Therefore the charges continue. Do you see the where I'm going? Which means religion normally should not be an individual. The way they put us, it is a smart, very smart plan from the colonial masters in order to do this, to pieces us. Now, as I was saying, it was not about religion. When the Jews referred, call pagans, they call other people, not Jews. Until the early Christian Jews started using it to refer to non-Judaism practitioners. Still yet, they were referring to non-ethnical Jews, because every Jew has Judaism as his or her culture, whether you are practicing it to the letter or you are not. Once you are born a Jew, they call you a Judaism. It doesn't matter, even if individually, in the modern world now, you can take your decision individually. Say, I'm a Jew. Individually, if they come to if you are discussing with somebody, you say, no, I don't even believe this story, this and that. But anyway, I'm a Jew, which means you are being covered in that religion because it's your culture. You can never depart from your culture, or refuse your culture, or deny your culture. That is what I want to bring in here. Let me give you an example. Let's because we say on things we read every day. That is from where we come. Like in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 31 to 32. There's something he said there. Is Christ saying, therefore do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the Gentiles, do you see, seek after all these things. Who are the Gentiles? People of other ethnicity, the non-Jewish people. He is talking to the Jews. He said, for the Gentiles, all those people in all the border, at your border, all those people, they do like this. This is what they do. But you yourself are special people, which means everybody, every Jew is something about race, ethnicity. I don't know whether people understand. Therefore, when he referred to Gentiles, he referred to other races, the non-Jews. Whether you as a Jew believe in him, Christ, or believe, as far as your blood is Jewish, you are being covered. You are not a Gentile. That is it. You understand? So, we should be wise. Also in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 21, he said, when I am, is Paul saying this, he said, when I am with the Gentiles who do not follow the Jewish law, do you see it? I too live apart from that law, so I can bring them to Christ. Look at what he said. So what I want to bring there is that calling Gentiles, when he mentioned Gentiles, is following people that are not following Jewish law. As a Jew, you cannot debar yourself from following Jewish law. It doesn't matter whether you are practical, you are practicing it, the way it should be or not. You are a Jew, you are a Jew. I want people to understand this. So that when they tell you that now, your brother that is, you call your brother an unbeliever, that is ignorance. Also, let me also give another example. In the book, this, so that when they tell you that now, your brother that is, you call your brother an unbeliever, that is ignorance. Also, let me also give another example. In the book, this, so that when they tell you that now, your brother that is, you call your brother an unbeliever, that is ignorance. Also, let me also give another example. In the book, this, so that when they tell you that now, your brother that is, you call your brother an unbeliever, that is ignorance. Also, let me also give another example. In the book of them are now tell them, okay, establish this church, so that any person that comes to the church and now become baptized, he see himself as he's a Christian. He is with the white people, the colonial, the British. Now he starts referring to his own brother as an unbeliever. Do you see how smart they are? All these things is to divide us into pieces. Normally, religion should be a community thing. It's our own thing. It's our own thing. It's not a personal race. As they told you, it's life from the pit of hell. All the things is to make us to be divided, so that you'll be calling your brother that is practicing our normal religion, you call him a pagan, you call him a Gentile, you call him an unbeliever. Do you understand? After all, do you know that even the colonial masters, they try to demonize the Jews, they name Jews in our mouth. People don't know whether you understand it. That is why, when in the normal lexicon, street lexicon, when you see somebody, you either call the person somebody that you think is ignorant, you call him now he's a Mugu or a Jew man. What do you mean by Jew man? He's from the Jew. The same way they were talking, they took the Jews in Europe. The same way they call them bad names in order to kill them. The same way they put it in our mouth. You understand? But unconsciously we don't know it. That is why whenever you see somebody that maybe you see is a villager and ignorant, you call a Jew man. What do you mean by Jew man? That is the way the racism that came from the Europeans. If they can do this in order to demonize the Jews also, so that we be taking people ignorant. Have you ever researched and thought about how this Jew man come to our lexicon? No matter how streetwise or sarcastical it sounds, it is being used. But the reality is that even the colonial masters, they try to also demonize the Jews on our own mouth. That is why you call, Jew man. No, Jew man. Have you thought about it? Have you thought about it? With the above quotations which I have quoted in the Bible, it is clear that religion is about the way of life or culture of a whole race, nation, or a tribe. It is not about some people inside the tribe, no. It is about a whole people. The people that are practicing this, you see the Fulani. Any person, they can say all of them are Muslims, because they see it that if they introduce division inside themselves and say this one is professing another religion, there will be catastrophe. So they quickly acclimatize and now be going as a group, as a race. That is why they are on top. But in our own way, in our own life, in our own nation, in us as a people, the Europeans quickly, smartly introduce division through the religion, imported religion. Say no, this is a private race. Now, people that we are horrible set of people that committed crime against the land during the time of colonial masters, they will run to church. Instead of them to be punished according to the law of the land, the church will accept them. European Christianity will accept them inside the church and just baptize them and give them different name. Okay, for they will give them, says you are now Raphael. Your sins are forgiven. Now they will be calling those good people in the community that are saying that onya mero Allah suppose requala, which means punishment against what the person has done. Now that person now will start carrying Bible, wearing clean clothes and this and that, start preaching. A criminal. Do you see how things fell apart in our land? Okay, criminal. Onye nara ala wanne ya n'ike. But because he's now supported by the British and turned because of his crime, where he will find solace in order to escape the punishment of the land, which is normal. They turn criminals now. He turned it, the British, through Christianity, they turn criminal, say you have repented. No, all things are passed away. Do you see how they have undone us? And the person will go scot-free. Now he will be backed by the military. Any person that say, hey, he stole a goat in our land, so he should be punished, the British military will kill him. And people will become afraid. Now the criminal becomes a saint in our land. And that trend has been going on till today. It has been going on till today. One other place, I want you to come in before I continue.
Yes, Mazi, what you're saying, what you just said is very powerful, because this is where we have the problem. Because it has been established through history and otherwise that the easiest way to conquer somebody, or even to make somebody be subjected to you, is by making the person believe that who they are is not real, or they're not worthy. Once you're able to manipulate the mind, the person now can accept that you are superior than them. So this is what the role religion has played. When they came to us and made us to believe, our ancestors to believe, however it happened, how long it took, that the religion we had on the ground, our native religion, was not good. It was something dark. Once we bought it, all these things that are playing out were set at that time. Because the truth of the matter is this, just like we said on the onset of this, and we'll continue to stress it, the truth is that no religion is better than the other, is more important or more powerful. Because religion is a way of life of people. Now, this Fulani we're talking about, the Muslims, have they been Muslims all their life? That's one thing. Where did they come from? The Hausas they conquered in the north, they were not Muslims before. They had their own native pre-Islamic traditional religion called Bori. So, but now you don't even hear about it. It's gone. Because once the Fulanis came in through the Islamization of agenda of Usman Dan Fodio in the 18th century, they were able, which is what they're trying to do with us now. This is why this program is important, and that people must listen. It's a gradual process. These people are so determined, they can be patient, that tenacity is something you cannot reckon with ours. So now, if you talk about go to the north, only thing you will hear is Muslim. You wouldn't even know that they had their own traditional religion, which is who they are. And that is why it's like the Hausas are willing tools they are using to conquer other people. They have been moving now, and that's the same thing Christianity has done. Christianity came in, the Western used it, the Europeans used it to conquer us. Because once they're able to let us drop our own philosophy, which are native religion, it was game over for us. Mazi, there is something that has been coming to my mind since yesterday, and I tried to do a little bit of my arithmetic. It makes sense to me. Trying to bolster the point that no native religion, even these organized 4 main religions that are trading in the world today, are not superior than us. And that when we treated last week, when we are like, people are saying, oh, I'm not worshiping pagan, I'm not worshiping deities, I'm not dealing with the spirit, it's only the traditional religion that are dealing with spirit. Like we rightly stated last week, the names of the days and weeks are named after the gods, but these are not our gods. So every day we are breeding this, worshiping these gods, knowingly or unknowingly. Let's go back to our own traditional religion. I'm going straight, focusing on the Igbo traditional religion, because that's the one I'm very familiar, I can talk effectively on it. But I can guarantee that it won't be too far from all the Biafran speaking, all the Biafran religion of the native religions. I'm talking about our 4 market days, because I started thinking after last session, why is it that our ancestors had only 4 Eke days, which was the way they were using to calculate the years, or to chart the years, and the Europeans have 7 days. Well, like we said last week, 7 days represented their 7 gods or goddesses. In our own, these 4 days represented our 4 gods and goddesses. Okay, Enko, Eke, Orie, Afo. Again, somebody made a reference to Eke, meaning that what it means is creativity or creation. And again, I thought a little bit, I figured out that when there's a name we call Chukwu Abiyama, I know everyone is calling him Chukwu Abiyama now. What we call him is Chineke kere ihe niile. When you break it down, is Chi, which is the male deity, Eke, the female deity. Chi na Eke kere ihe niile. I'm asking myself, is that the full meaning of Chineke? Because even now we call it in a way that you rhyme, Chineke. Is the full meaning Chi na Eke kere ihe niile? Having said that, another thing I went into was, when I tried to calculate the number of days in a year, which is 365 days, it began to make sense that our ancestors knew a lot more better. We need to exploit the 4 days, which is the 4 market days, is what we call 4 market days. Then in Igbo language, I remember there's something we call Otu-Izu. Otu-Izu is 7 days in Igbo language. And all these things, they use the charting, even mentioned it now, they use the charting of the moon. The moon cycle is 28 days. So now, I'm not a science, I'm a pure science, I'm social science. But simple arithmetic, Mazi, when you multiply our 4 market days into a set of 7 Otu-Izu, what is it going to give you? 28 days. That is a full moon. That's a full moon cycle. Now, when you take this 28, and divide it, that's the way I divided it, you find out that when you divide these 7 days, which is Otu-Izu, into the 365 days, I'm going to redo my calculation. If I'm wrong, I'll come back, but I believe I did it yesterday again. Mazi, you will see that what will give you is 13 months. That is 13 months. Okay? Which is only 1 day shy of a full cycle of the year. That's 28 days a month. Now, I began to see the intelligence of our people. Because when you calculate the Roman calendars, some months you have 30 days, some months you have 31 days, some months you have 28 days. But when you applied the principle the thing our ancestors did.
Before you continue, let me put it here. It is not the what we are using today. It is Gregorian calendar. Roman calendar has 10 months in a year. Very wrong.
Oh, 10 months. Yeah, 10 okay, correct.
So it was King Gregory, that during his time that they calculated and found out that what the Africans calculated during the time they call the ancient civilization of Egypt, our ancestors, they got it right, because that time it was 365 days making up a year. But the Romans, they were using 10 months in 1 year, which is not a truth, So go on, please.
Yes, that's all. Thank you for you, Bajimolu. Mazi, that's all, because when I did this arithmetic last night, my head blew up. I said, what? They were only off when you do the calculation through our 4 market days multiplied by OTs, which is 7 days, you will get 13 months. And each month it will be 28 days. Mazi, you will only be off it will give you 364 days. 1 day off. And one day I was saying, I told myself that if you think deep into it, it will be that when you have the equinoxes, that's when that 1 day elapses, or when you can have to get that 1 day. So what am I saying? He begins to tell you that even without the so-called sophisticated weapon equipments we have today, like telescope and all that, our ancestors were in charge of astronomy. They were great astronomers. They were able to read, dissect, charted the firmament, the universe, beyond the Milky Galaxy. How did they do that? That's the question I was asking myself. No wonder they were able to build all these things that are still mystery today. But somebody walked in and told us, and we abandoned all these things. The argument I was making to myself last night, is that why we are going through some of the things we are going? Because we have abandoned the truth. Again, like I said, no religion is more superior. But there's a reason why our ancestors were exposed to this kind of knowledge. Why? How did it work for them? How can we find out how it worked for them? That's one of the jobs I think we need to be going back to. So I just needed to bring this, because what we are saying again is, if we do not resist, if we do not keep our own, go back to dig out who we are, or we were, and then begin to restore it, just like the Hausas today. Nobody is talking about their traditional religion. That is who they are, and that is why it looks like whatever the Fulanis might be fewer in number, but that you're able to control them, because they have made them to abandon who they are, and now they became their slave by adopting their own religion, which is another person's tradition or who they are. So that's what I wanted to bring in for now as we move forward, Mazi.
So, just as I said before, during her statement, the Romans, they miscalculated the universe, days and nights. They were using 10 months. That is why March normally, I explained it last week. March was the first month of the year under Roman calendar, until it was corrected during the Gregorian time era. That is why we are using Gregorian calendar now. That is why, have you asked yourself, why is it that October, but it's the 10th month? October. 8th month. October, November, December. Let me start with December. That is 10th month. Yes. Why is it that December, the Ken, you can see it, the Disney, it's 10. Everybody knows it. Now, it's during the Roman era. December is the last month, which is the 10th month. And it was now inculcated after adding January and February during the Gregorian era, because they found out that there is error in the calendar that was being used by the Romans. You understand? There is a clip I used to play. One man, he's a Caucasian. He said it's pop and plain that the civilization started in Africa, but the West will not accept it. They don't want to accept it openly. Say the Romans, during the Roman Empire, the Romans were very stupid because they calculated the months as 10 months in a year. Until they go back to the African calculation, which is what we are using today. Now they call it a Gregorian calendar. It should be African calendar, normally. Do you see it? Now, what I want, remember we are talking about paganism. It is very wrong for you or for us to refer to our brothers, our own blood, as pagans, because he's practicing our local religion. It is horrible. Let me ask you, what we do here is to simulate your brain into making researches, to find out things by yourself. That is what our leader taught us. And that is why, once you are an ardent listener to Radio Biafra, a student of Radio Biafra, no person can engage in, factual, reasonable discussion or argument with you and you lose. It's impossible because you bring facts. You understand? Have our people during the olden times, has there been a time when our people used to call ourselves, you are an unbeliever, or you are a pagan, or you are an infidel? We just ask older people in the villages. No. The answer is no. The people we take as Ndi Merala, any person that commits a crime in a land, he becomes an outcast until he will be led into the ritual of Ekwala. You understand? That is what do they call in Catholic Church? Inyegi Wanda, can you help me? Onye confess.
Is it or penance or penance. Whatever? Is it penance or something? I'm not Catholic, but is it penance?
That is the penance. Any person that maybe stole one goat as a thief, the person he committed a crime against the land, not only against the person, the owner of the goat, because even if there are things that are in place, even if he pays for that goat or restitute it as a thief, there are rituals to be made for him to be restituted back to the land as a normal person, because he committed a crime not only to the person but as to the people, against the land. Do you see this thing? Because everybody is stepping on top of our land, so everybody is connected. The land connects us. Do you see? But one smart thing the Europeans did is to bring this. When they bring this religion, they say now you have to be individualistic. Once you do a thief, they come to the church and say, you confess your sins are forgiven, so you don't need to do any other thing again in order to appease the land. Do you see one smart thing they have? Just believe, and
Mazi, they begin to tell us now, forget about appeasing the land, because there's nothing in the land. When we die, we go to heaven, and heaven is this place we don't know where exactly. It is an abstract place, and we should be looking forward upstairs. But just you said something that caught my attention right now, Mazi. Yes, which is when you have defied the land. Think about it, Mazi. When you and I, any day I live my full potential of life, my fullness of time, when my real, what I call the essence of who I am, which is the spirit man in me, lives, where does this body go? Where does everything go? It goes to the land. So that's the connection. So even when I'm buried to the ground, my people who are alive are still have a contact with me, because they step on the ground. They step on the land. That's why when the traditionalists are saying, they say, "Eluna labia me witness," because I'm still, even though I am gone, my children, my relatives, they have a communication with me by when they step on the ground, are in commune with me. But they came in and detached us, shredded us from that belief, and telling us that it doesn't matter. I can defy the land. The land has no thing to do with me. I'm separate me, and then I'm going straight to heaven, which is an abstract place that I will never know. That concept begins to make me to say, okay, there's nothing about the land. I can defy the land and move on with my life. Mazi, right now, I don't mean to But I just needed to bring it up because
you said
that
it
came into my
correctly.
mind.
Because what they did is to break our spiritual backbone as we are connected to the land, even to our ancestors in the land. Because that is why any criminal, during Mbebuo, any person that commits a crime, they say, "Oh, Menaro, Megide Allah." Do you understand? He committed a crime against the land. But one smart thing these people did in this imported religion, they detached us from our connections. They demonize it, say, there is one other place you will go, and there is a heaven. So you don't need to, even if you're a criminal, commit a crime. What our people are talking about the land is lie. It's not good. So it's demon. It's demonic. Do you see how they did? Do you see how they did? As I was saying, our people, in our tradition, we don't call ourselves Gentiles or pagans or unbelievers. That word never existed in our language. No Biafran language have this thing as original. It's imported. Why is it so? They imported it from the Greek, from their time. The Romans were the people, the Europeans, we are the real pagans. But now, because they took over power and they tried to hijack the Judaism, you understand, which you call Christianity. But the Jews said, no, this is not what we knew. It's not our religion you can hijack like this. You can have power. You understand? Do you know that during the Roman conquest or the Roman occupation, the Roman Empire, let me put it like that, Jews, they revolted several times. Every time they used to revolt in order to be free. They used to revolt. Let me tell you, the Jews, you see, even in the Bible, the Jews, they were against, the people were against, calling all sorts of names. Even Christ called them hypocrites. Are what? Are the Pharisees. Those walking with the occupier, making a living out of it. The scribes, these are tax collectors. They are collecting tax for the Roman Empire. So the Jews saw these people as betrayers. The way we see, the way our politicians are serving the caliphate, killing us and serving the caliphate. That is exactly what happened to the Jews during the time of Christ. Do you understand? So these people now, Christ didn't even call them Gentiles. Instead, always refer to them, say, you behave like Gentiles. Which means no matter that they are Jews serving the Roman Empire at the detriment of their people. They are still Jews. They are still culturally Jews, but they refer themselves, they are behaving like Gentiles. Do you see the difference? They are not calling them, say, you are unbeliever, you are Gentiles. No. Do you understand me? Christ can insult them, brood of vipers, this and that, because of these are saboteurs, because they attack them. The people they attack that time, these are the ones, the saboteurs of the Jews' interests, by serving their occupying force. You know, they look at why you know, people read even the Bible, they don't understand. That is why I say you read all this, the whole book, because you learn from it. All the whole old books. Why do they say they compare the highest sinners during the Roman Empire occupation of Judah? The biggest sinners seen by the Jews are tax collectors. Why is it so? These are people they call the Ikrimiki saboteurs. They will come and collect taxes from their people and give to the Roman Empire that is maltreating them. Do you see it? Is it not what is still going on today? But in that case, they were regarded as sinners. See, you see the word, go to the Bible. They never call them Gentiles even. They call them sinners. That is Ndimerala. Tax collectors, these are sinners. In our own language or in our own terms, In our local dialect, we call them Ndi Merorala. These are the people that are serving against the interests of the people, against the interests of the land. Not that there is no word as pagans, they are worshipping other gods. No, 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 no. Instead, they are committing crime against the land. These are the people. But as I said, the British, the Europeans, they smartly came in order to smash us into pieces. Now they take our criminals and put them, because they have no other choice than to convert into Christianity first and be doing the biddings of the Europeans, because they are criminals of the land, against the land. So they use them, you know, and be even killing our own people as of that time. Now the people that are supposed to be criminals, now they come out and be telling though the custodians of the land, calling them now, campaigning against them that they are pagans. Do you see how this thing rose up in our land? Do you see? Very smart thing. Now they started talking against, campaigning against our people, the people that are supposed to, you know, hold them accountable for their crimes. When you study history, you see that the first people that converted into Christianity in our land are criminals. Most of them are criminals, I should say. I'm telling you honestly. Those that are trying to run away from the crimes they committed against the land, now they see another road. They say, they found solace. Britain knew, the Europeans knew, and say, okay, I can use these people. They are the people rejected in the land. They're supposed to be punished in one way or the other. Some of them supposed to be sent into exile. Some of them supposed to maybe be sent into community work, because that is the punishment our culture used to give. Do you understand? But when they found the solace in the church, in the European church, now Europe have to be, it is the advantage. They become like mercenaries in the hands of the Europeans. Now they started campaigning against our people. That is where the division started. Oh, they started calling them, oh, these are pagans. You understand? That is where all these words started. These are pagans. Oh, they are unbelievers. If you don't believe in God, now they started demonizing, using them to demonize our own culture. Very rich, pure culture. Do you see it? That is why I say, you have no single right or authority to refer to your fellow Biafran as a pagan, Gentile, or unbeliever. It is highly divisive and destructive for a race or people. You don't do it. Anything concerning us, do not allow what they wrote, what foreigners brought, in order to push you into, you know, calling or referring to your brother as a pagan. Is highly divisive. Let me tell you this. Do you see how President Buhari, the real Buhari, I think one time he called, before he came to power, he called Boko Haram terrorists his misguided brothers. Did he call them Gentiles? Did he call them unbelievers? Did he call them any? He said, it doesn't matter, they are killing people. He said they are his brothers. Yes, his misguided brothers. Do you understand what it means really? You know, had it been he calls them outrightly they are pagans, which means they are outcasts.
You meant calling them infidels?
Yes, or infidels. But he didn't call them infidels. Instead, yes, he will call you that is a, you know, as long as you are not a Fulani man, he will call you an infidel. It doesn't matter how righteous you are. Do you see? Now, if it can be done like this, why then do we call ourselves? Because you are reading Bible. Bible say, do not have communion with an unbeliever. That is bunkum. This is deception. What they use in putting scissors, knife in our umbilical cord so that things will fall apart. A whole killers, people that kill with impunity. Let Buhari call them his misguided brothers. You understand? They are his brothers. He didn't deny it. He didn't call them infidels, because calling them infidels means sentencing them to death. You understand? But he didn't do that. He said they are misguided brothers. After hijacking Judaism in the name of Christianity, the Romans, who are the original pagans and Gentiles, started referring to other indigenous religions and tribes as pagans. This was finally mischievously inoculated into our brain. I say inoculation into our brains by the colonial masters as one of their major divide and rule tactics. Remember, not all the Jews actively practice what we call Judaism as religion, but they never call those non-practicing Jews pagans. Never. Unbelievers or Gentiles. Or do you understand? They never do that. The Jews never refer to their brothers. It doesn't matter whether they are I'll just hold on 1 second. Okay, Wanda, I hope you're back. Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah. The Jews never refer to their brothers as it doesn't matter what they do. They never refer to them as infidels. They see themselves as a tribe first, as a tribe. When they just research, they were a tribe, a nation, ethnicity. Now, because their culture now, they now call the name Judaism. People from the Jewish culture. You understand? Today, it becomes an international religion because of how they guarded it. They guarded it jealously. You understand? When Roman Empire, the Roman emperors couldn't break into this Judaism per se in order to spoil it, how Bukaranke had then call it Christianity. They carry their own and say, oh boy, now we be the presidents, now we be our own, now we call it Christian. They modelize it the Roman way and started using it to conquer everywhere in the world. Whereas the Jews, they kept their own culture intact and they were killed for that. Everywhere in Europe, they were slaughtered for that, and they spread everywhere in order to run away for their lives. Do you see? They never refer to themselves as or any one of them. It doesn't matter, even if the person committed a crime or did anything against the land, they never call him an infidel. Instead, there's somebody that committed crime against the land. It doesn't mean that, for example, if you're a citizen of a country, if you commit a crime, you are still a citizen. You are still a citizen, a born citizen, not a naturalized one, a citizen. Even if you commit, you are serving jail, you are still a citizen. It cannot call you an outcast, maybe a pagan, which means you are no more from you are different. No. You are still a citizen. That is what it means. But in our own case, they divided us smartly, so that you see yourself as a Christian, you see your brother as a European. Now, a British man, a white man, will become your brother more than your fellow, maybe uncle that was Nona Huala, a custodian of the land in our culture. You started avoiding him, going too closer, thinking that the foreigner is your brother more than Is it not stupidity? What is it not? It's complete arrant stupidity. This is a divide and rule tactics. You understand? The Jews, they understand.
It is, man.
Yes.
It is, Mazi.
The Jews, they understand that calling themselves these names as pagans or unbelievers means division. Rather, the word is reserved for non-Jews. If they see a non-Jew, they call him a pagan. Direct. Not their own brother. You understand? There is reserved for non-Jews. This mentality kept them as a bunch, and that is why, after suffering conquest, deportation and destructions for more than 2,000 years, they got back to their feet and restored their lost country, because they practice their culture, which you call a religion today. if we continue practicing our culture like now, what our leader instituted, which is right, Biafra is our religion. A time will come, if we continue pushing it, it will become an international religion. Do you understand? We will have codes, written codes that that is how a pure Biafran should be behaving. It's a code. Do you understand? Written one. And it becomes, you will see now, maybe if other people, even foreigners, can enter and start answering Biafra, where they go, what is your religion? They say Biafra. This is how Judaism came into being. From Judah. It's a tribe, a people. It becomes a religion. It's their culture. Somebody cannot be a foreigner to his culture, or somebody cannot be excluded from his culture. Being maybe a Jew as a religion, it doesn't necessarily mean that one person, they know all their cultures. Sometimes they might prevaricate. Maybe before he did a quacker, for example, and somebody didn't do that, which means he didn't, not everything they know, but they are still practicing their culture. That is what we are preaching here, for us to go back into our culture. There is one mistake our people used to make, or some of them. The thing, once we say our traditional religion, you see, they started thinking of Igwanshi. This is inoculation, what we have imbibed in our head, or maybe and using it to do audition only. No, it imbibes.
That's wrong.
Our way of life, the way, even when you wake up in the morning, the way you behave, the way you relate to your fellow brother, the way you salute, the way, it's our way of life. That is what we should be teaching. One other, please go on, if you may.
You just put your thumb on something heavy. I don't know whether you noticed that. Now, Madi, what you said something, even though it's been there, but you just brought something up now to my mind. You said, okay, the tribe we're talking about, Israeli, the country we call Israel, we know it's a Jewish state. This name Jewish came from a particular individual, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, according to the Christian Bible, called Judah. Okay? Now, Judah, when we use the word Jewish state, it doesn't mean that everybody, or even Israeli state, which is a Jewish state today, that everybody there are all Jews. No. You have other tribes, tribe of Benjamin, tribe of Issachar, tribe of this, all of them together. That's what we are calling the Jewish state today. Let's flip it to us, because this is one of the core things they are using to divide us. Oh, Biafra is an Igbo nation. No, it's not. Even in our own case, it's more unique, because in our own case, there's no particular tribe called Biafra. So it's a universal name that is picked up to encompass us, to identify who we are. We the people. Okay? Because this is one of the things they are using. Because if we can go back to let us know that we are one people, all the states that make up Biafra, we are one people. All the tribes that make up Biafra, we are one people. If we can go back 10, 20 years, 1,000 years ago, Mazi, I can tell you that we all have the same, we were practicing the same culture, or call it religion. Because even though we might have variations today, what I mean, there's slight variations. There is a core thing, the way we worship, the way we reverence, the way we behave.
Even
and that
our
is
language.
why we can all agree. Mazi, go ahead if you want to comment.
No, go on. I say even our language. Like
yes.
What you say.
They all started from one, and then you have variations, because even when you go to the Jewish land, if you go to Jewish language today, there are variations. They will tell you. So where I'm bringing, because you said it hit my mind, boom. This is one of the things they are using dividing us. You hear somebody like Wike, I'm Rivers man. What do you mean by Rivers man? What do you mean? Ikwere is Igbo dialect. Because there are things they will say, and the Igbo person will say, you will see some Igbo language, Igbo dialect in there. There is something an Igbo person will say, you will see a component of Igbo dialect in there. We are one people. I think this is what we are trying to preach here. Because when we continue to use the word religion, people are caught up in like organized religion. It's our belief system, who we have always been. That which is in our DNA that made us to be in that geographical location, it did not come by surprise. We started from one people, and because we moved, we started diversifying, looking for land and all that. There are little variations that came in. It does not separate who we are. It does not negate who we are. That's the religion we're talking about. That is why when we use the word Biafra is our religion, it carries more weight. Because Biafra is what's going to take us to who we have always been, recognize or re-identify who we are, and move on together as a people and be who we are. Because as long as we do not go to this core thing you just lifted up today, Mazi, they will continue to use, when you hear the word religion, whether it is paganism, whether it's traditional religion, Mazi, is the same thing. Go back and see the way we practice, the way the region man practiced, the way the river man practiced, the way the Calabar man practiced, whatever tribe you call them. We are all Biafran because there is something fundamental, the way of our life, even the way we eat, things we do, our culture is the same. That's the religion we're talking about, not the modern religion, Mazi. I wanted to bring that in. Yes,
and what you said about language, you talked about 1,000 years back. I laugh. I say go back to what they call about women riot, which is not a riot, it's about women protests. Go back there, 1929 of yesterday. What language did our women communicate with that time? Is we need to make researches. It was not English, because they wouldn't go to Kotuma to translate to them what this person, a job person, is saying, a job woman is saying. No. It will baffle you that they were speaking as of yesterday, 1921. The whole of Biafra land, they understand one language. I am telling you that. Because they came from both Iguacha, both Ejo land, both Efik. The whole women gathered in Aba. All of them. Now the question I used to ask is this. Go and make researches. That time, what language did they speak? Because that time English was not rampant. Only few people could understand English, like Azikiwe and all these politicians who go to European school. With that time, who did the one, Nadia, all of them, how did they communicate each other with our Efik sisters, with our Ejo sisters? That's a good question. It's a good question, Matt, because Matt, what you are saying now is one of the keys that will unravel the mystery of how we lost who we are. Matt, go ahead, please. Yes. So that is the thing. And you see like the vagabond Wike today, as he says he's not an Igbo. He's not Igbo. Only now being a presidential candidate will make him now start talking, even speaking Igbo. Now, he will train his children to tell them that, look, you people are not Igbo. Maybe now it's Wike. They remove N, it become Wike. Okay. Yes. Maybe in the next the generation of his children, they will remove N or put what do you call it? L there. It becomes Wike. It will be sounding like maybe language from Varandapo. Do you see? Yeah, Williken. Williken. Exactly. And now that time they will not understand. That is how things change. Do you see it? Because by then they are losing their originality, because they have been brainwashed. They are not interested in it. They are not going back to look at it. They just keep moving forward, and this thing is changing. It's a gradual process, Mazi. It's a gradual process. Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed. So what we are doing here in this hallowed platform is to stimulate our brains into making researches to go back to who we are. Because they have fooled us enough. They have fooled us enough. As our sister said, no religion is superior to another. Do you understand? No religion. The only thing is that people become powerful and they conquered others. That is the thing. And once they conquer others, some end up imposing their tradition on them. Look at, I saw on social media the other day. You see this Muslim festival they did. To my dismay,
yes.
I saw where they say it's in Enugu. Our people, Igbos,
thank you,
wearing jalabia, wearing Fulani Islamist this thing. And you see, this is how they will take. What they are doing is a gradual process.
It starts. Gradually, they think it's a joke.
Do you know? These people now, they take the Fulani as their brothers more than the Igbo that are not Muslims. Do you know that? I have had an encounter. There's one man.
Did you hear what this visit this bastard went and did Ebony? Did you hear? There was something I heard. The Hausa Fulani tribe gave a presentation to him how Umahi has been providing things for them. Mazi, I chuckled and I cringed where I was. I said, the Hausa community in Ebonyi State came together during a presidential visit, and we are given opportunity to present whatever. But the so-called Ohanese were locked outside, Mazi.
You see them out.
Tell me the last time Buhari went to any northern state and the Igbo community were allowed to come and give a presentation. That is how it starts. But I hope I did not make you lose your thoughts.
Yes. So what I'm saying is this: like you see, people that are under the guise of freedom of religion. I can take Islam. They convert to Islam. It is very dangerous. Do you know why? It is not that we are against freedom of religion. No, but the danger there is this. They are changing again the nomenclature of our community. Now, people that converted into Islam in Igbo land, you that is a non-Igbo Muslim, they take you as an infidel. The same mindset of the Fulani. Now they take the Fulani as their brother more than you that is their blood. So if there is a fight,
you have to change your name.
They
have to change your name.
It's an Igbo man, but he can kill you because it is. You see, the Fulani will manipulate him and say, "No, Islam, Quran say, oh yes, it's an infidel. Don't worry, even if it's your brother, kill him." That is the way Ottoman Danfodio manipulated the Hausas. They divided them to kill themselves. That is why we are shouting now. I've had an encounter, direct encounter, because I used to see one man. They call it Uche Bulem of Muslim something in Imo State. One day, I just was listening to what this man was professing on social media. I was totally dismayed. One day I scrambled for his direct contact. I called him on WhatsApp. I said, "Are you to be sure that he's an Igbo man? Sorry, Igbo. Or me introduce the Igbo. What are you trying to insinuate? The colonization, European colonization, that we are suffering, the division in our land, we have not even gotten ourselves, and now we are putting ourselves into another second colonization and confusion, so that Kai Wuzie race that is finished in life." All this, I told them that day. I said, "Don't. If you want to cut, that is your problem. But what you are doing, posterity will remember you in a very bad way, because all you are doing is to use, because of money and fame." The man was listening to me.
It's all about money.
The man was listening to me. I think his name is Uche Bulem or Webulam, something like that. The man, we spoke for more than 2 hours, and I told him, "Stop what you are doing. You are doing it thinking that, we have the right to do. If it is all this Fulani, they will slaughter you, because we don't kill. That is why you people have the temerity in order to put us always in a quagmire because of your personal interest." And do you know that when there was one time he started warning IPOB that they should leave any person that touches the mosque in Abakaliki, that all of them will die. They will mobilize with the Fulani and kill everybody. This particular man is an Igbo man. I'm telling you.
Now who is doing the beat? Who is doing the beat for the Fulani?
Do you see? This is, when we are saying it is the one that
they are fighting us from every front. Our people are not realizing it. Just because of whatever money they are giving him, he thinks, "Oh, I'm just playing religion." But the main core of the Fulanis are, they know what they're doing. They are using him as an instrument to destabilize, to enter, to colonize us. Because by the time the full potential of what he's doing will be here, he is gone and buried and gone. He's dead and buried and gone. He will not witness. He will not. But it's the future generation that will suffer what he's doing now. But in his own, he thinks that I'm just playing, I'm just believing whatever I want to believe. You know, they're taking care of me. You know, because once you get into that's the damn danger of religiosity. Once you get into it, it's brainwashing. Even within the so-called Christian churches, that is one of the questions I asked them. Mazi, let's go back there. You will see somebody that is of different denomination. They believe that the other person is a sinner. Because you're not worshiping in the same denomination with me, you're not serving even the same church with, even in the same denomination, because I'm not going to your own church, you want to convert me, you want me to come to your pastor. Even though it's supposed to be the same church, the same religion, the body of Christ is supposed to be one. So what am I saying here? What are we saying here? Once you get into that religiosity, you can practice because he gives you a kind of hope, but once you get into, and not everybody has the ability to practice religion without being a fanatic or practicing what I call religiosity, letting it consume you. You see the next person that is not in the same mindset, ideology with you, because religion is about ideology, as an enemy. That is why religion is one of the best tools to conquer another person. Once you can get into that mindset, even your own mother, even they will something like Christian Bible, they will quote from you that Jesus Christ said, I have come to separate the father and the mother. I've come to scatter, not to build. So these are the things they use. These are the catchphrases they use. So guys, what they're doing, I have said it one time. I know we should have freedom of speeches, freedom of religion, religious worship, but there has to be a regulation whenever Biafra comes. It's going to be soon by his grace. Okay, because this is one thing that I've used and they continue to use, and is a perfect tool to divide and conquer people. Look at that Igbo man. There was maybe the same guy you're talking about. I saw him. This one lives in Owerri. He came out one time. He was speaking. He was dressed up in their turban. He was speaking perfect Owerri dialect. I can't even speak, even though I'm close to Owerri. I couldn't speak in Owerri like that. And he was talking about that his ancestors came 18 something. that Igbo Hausa. Yes. I said there's nothing like Igbo Hausa. Either you're Hausa or you're not Hausa. So this is how all this. Think about what his children will be saying, and I can tell you, all his children, all their names will be Muslim names. This is how this thing starts. So in the next 2-3 generations, those children will see themselves as Muslim. They'll be ready to kill the next person around them, whether you're of the same community with them, the same ancestral father with them. They will kill you because you do not believe in the same religion, because religion has that
power.
What do I call it? Feelings, emotions, that when people get into it, unless you have a matured mind, you get carried away. That is why it's so dangerous, Mazi.
That is, like as I was saying, that is the reason, when you look at it, what we are witnessing today, like all these examples we are giving, this is the way the Europeans were hunting our people during their time when they were converting our ancestors by fire, by force, using every method, taking criminals into churches, baptizing them and calling them that now they are born again, turning them against their brothers. This is exactly the same thing we are witnessing, like I was saying, about an Igbo man trying to lure others into Islam. Fulani. Now, who has the authority in Quran, in the zoo? Is the Fulani. Igbo man, once he enter into the new colonization, I call it another colonization, the masters will be the Fulani. Do you see the danger? They will be manipulating you against your own brother. Maybe as they don't drink. Now you are in a family, your people drink. Now the Fulani will tell you, you are living with the infidels. Remove yourself. We will sponsor you. We will get you an apartment. Now you would be there because you feel that, as they are drinking the cups they used to drink alcohol, you cannot, and you are a family with the same blood. They will manipulate you out from that place. From there, you start condemning what your people have been doing for millennium. Do you see it? Do you see what the way the Europeans turn our people against us in the name of the religion? Exactly, that is the same way. Exactly. Now, when, as you said, if these people that are converting maybe because of monetary inducement, because they want to, you know, they will be helped, they will be given money by Alhaji. I remember during the time of Okoro Hausa, people that Igbo youth, is it youth corpers that converted into Islam in Abuja. Okorocha gave them whether 2 million naira each that time. Ojo Zakalo did the same thing. These are to encourage them. They know what they are doing. They want to homogenize Nigeria. Let me tell you, to be you know, no more diversification, because it will be easier for Fulani to control when they are at the head of the religion. They're on top of everybody. Do you understand? So now, when these people, for example, when these people, the Europeans, they were colonizing our people with Christianity, it's exactly the same thing. They turned our people against each other, calling our traditional religion, the religion they were born, our culture, now they demonize it. They demonize it. It's a ploy, division, and we cannot afford to enter into this type of second division again. Whereby, look at the pig in the creek. Do you remember when he was calling Muslims to rise up against IPOB? His fellow Muslims. Who is his fellow Muslims? If you see, if you see,
are they Biafrans? They are not Biafrans. Majority of them are not Biafrans. But he was calling them.
Yes.
To rise up against Biafra.
Oh yeah, come.
His own people.
Fight the Biafrans.
The same person that claimed to be a Biafran.
Yes.
And he's calling his religious members to rise up against his own people, yes, without qualms.
Do you see the danger?
But they will tell you heavenly rests an individual thing.
No.
And even when you kill these your people now that have been tagged infidels, Allah will reward you. You see how they come with it? When you kill them, it doesn't matter. Allah will reward you.
You know, it's very, very terrible. So what are we saying? What we are preaching here is for us to take common sense. Like our mother said, you know, somebody can be doing something without knowing the consequence of what he is doing to future generations. You can earn children that no more, that didn't grow on our normal culture, even Judeo-Christian religion per se. They don't know it again. What they know is how to pray Christian Allah 5 times a day. You have created a monster in the future. Just like the way when we say, whenever I